Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Most of Mavs post-game podcast. I am your co-host, Caden De La Garza, a journalism major at the University of Oklahoma. And to my left is your other co-host, my good old buddy, Jude Albert. Jude, how are we doing today?
1, 2, 3. 3 home games left in this Mavs season. Only 3. Been a long season. There's a lot of talk about, the season needs to be shorted or be shorter. That's a conversation for another day. But, I hope Adam Silver's watching. And what I mean by that is this is the most ethical tank possible.
Yeah.
We play all of our guys. We don't sit. All of our guys play high minutes. I mean, you could even make the case. I mean, Pulikitis, we played our two-way guys, and what more could kid, you texted me in the middle of the game, Tyler Smith got some burn tonight. It didn't do much, but Pulikitis, and he threw in the other two-way guy, and he shot the lights out, So, Silver, this is, come on, man. The tank, this is as ethical as it gets.
It's as ethical as it gets. I mean, when you have Polakidis coming out there, putting up 9 points in 12 minutes, 3 for 5 from 3. What more could you ask for? Seeing good performances out of various guys, like Marvin Bagley had a great night tonight for Dallas. Stat sheet might not show, but I feel like he did an amazing job offensively. Klay Thompson gave you some good minutes. Cooper had a really good game. Najee had a really good game. A little bit more of a quiet night from PJ, but we tend to kind of see a little bit quieter nights when he plays against the Warriors. Either he goes off or he just does nothing, usually against the Warriors. So, sometimes that happens. Gafford, great game, but what do we know from Gafford? He always beats up on the smaller teams, and the Warriors are notoriously kind of created small ball. So Max Christie was very clutch in overtime. He had a bunch of just huge shots that fell down.
Yep.
He ended with 15 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 steals. Cooper, great Cooper game, an amazing Cooper game, probably the best Cooper game. Definitely the best Cooper game we've seen since his return from injury. 32, 4, 9, and 2 steals. He had 7 turnovers, and they were like hawking him. They knew exactly how to get these turnovers. They game planned against him perfectly. Every single time he transitioned to that hang cross to the left hand, I feel like Moses Moody, first off, prayers up to Moses Moody. Gruesome injury. You never want to see that on a basketball court. The moment he went up for that bucket and he came down, I was like, I knew that it was not going to be good. And then, of course, on a nationally televised game, they wanted to do a close-up on that terrible injury, which you usually don't want to see in broadcast. But besides the facts, prayers up for Moses Moody. He had an amazing night too. Moses Moody was the difference maker for the Golden State Warriors. And, if that could have resulted in a Mavericks win, but him coming out. I mean, the stadium was silent. The Warriors definitely were feeling it. The Mavericks were feeling it. There was a stretcher on the court, just a terrible sight that you want to see. But the Warriors stat sheet, I mean, just looking at it right now, it's insane. The Warriors, dude.
Yeah. It's an interesting ball club for sure. I mean, I was thinking about it. I'd actually texted a friend of mine, personally, just as a basketball fan, with all due respect to the Warriors, I think Steph needs to get out. I know, they've done everything right by him, and he seems like the ultimate. He's one of the best I think he is the best pure superstar in league history. And what I mean by that is you've never heard anything, no drama, no off the court stuff, never anything, no complaining ever. He just shows up and is amazing. But back to your point about the statue, my point was this roster is just not good. They have just a bunch of you know,
Yes.
7th, 8th, 9 men on their in their rotation that play heavy minutes. Like you said, Moody was probably even KP had a really good game tonight. Mavs
Yeah.
legend. Um, yeah. Wish he got some of the same foul calls he got tonight. He did in Dallas. My God, he was grifting tonight. Just gonna be honest and upfront and say Draymond at this point in his career is not that fun to watch. Just is what it is. So yeah, the stat sheet for the Warriors was weird. Honestly, going in, I thought the Mavs were going to win this game. I don't really
Me
know
too.
why. It's just this felt like the Warriors are struggling. Main guys are out, and it's just another overtime game. I mean, it was just a back and forth game. Like you said, Coop had a good game. Really, he was just kind of loose with the ball tonight, which is okay, but just things we already know they can tighten up this offseason. But yeah, just a good game. Like I said, 3 more home games, and then we can get out of here. But yeah, interesting game tonight for sure.
Yeah, I mean, something about the Warriors, it does look top to bottom like a bunch of guys that are 6th or 7th man rotation guys. But one thing they really do have is they have so many guys that can guard you on ball. They
Yeah.
have a ridiculous amount of guys that can guard you on ball. Moses Moody, to bring up one. D'Anthony Melton's really good on ball. Gary Payton II is one of the best on ball players defensively in the league. They don't have Jimmy right now, but he's really good on ball. Like, just a bunch of guys that can just guard you straight up, and not to mention Draymond, but he's more of a mid post guy guarding wise. Well, watching this game throughout, I was like kind of surprised about how much they didn't use Draymond in actions. I think that trade to Porzingis, they use him a lot in
Yep.
those actions that they would usually use Draymond, especially on the perimeter with dribble handoffs, pocket passes, and stuff of that nature. I don't think Kristaps does a well job as Draymond would do in that scenario, but that's a Steve Kerr thing. For some reason, Steve Kerr still believes in Brandon Podziemski, which, I mean, he played 40 minutes tonight, overtime game, but he played 40 minutes, had 20 points, 10 rebounds for Pods, 6 assists, 1 steal, +3, a block.
I
Good game for
watched the
Pods.
entire game. I kind of didn't even realize he was out there. Is that crazy?
No,
Like
it's not crazy. It's not.
these stats, just looking at him, I was shocked. He played 40 minutes tonight. Like, obviously, I knew he scored and made some nice plays, but I don't know.
Anytime I
He's
see
just on
Pods like be
ball
good,
so much. Ugh.
they kind of use him like Curry. They kind of do. And then he gets into some isolations and then it usually never works.
Yeah.
But Pods is a really interesting player. And every single time he has a good game and I look at the stat sheet, I'm like, he played. Like, I didn't really notice anything. And he's just a betting. I don't even want to get into his betting on Brandon Podziemski because it is just a nightmare. Never do that. If you're a sports bettor, do not bet on Brandon Podziemski, by the way.
That's what they like to call a donation.
It's a donation. Pure donation. I thought I would see a lot more Pat Spencer minutes tonight. Pat Spencer, dude, Steve Kerr, I cannot stand him. He's not even my coach on my team. I can't stand Steve Kerr. Pat Spencer played 12 minutes. I mean, he's one of their most dynamic players on their team. He should be getting way more than 12 minutes a game. He's had multiple
will be now.
performances where he played. Yeah, I mean,
Moody going out.
and then Draymond, like, their substitutions are so strange, and how they don't, you really don't combine Porzingis and Draymond on the court very often, which doesn't make a lot of sense to me as well. But hey, I'm just a podcast host, 21-year-old podcast host who is attending a university. So I probably don't know enough about basketball, but through everybody's opinions on Steve Kerr, you can make an opinion. You can make an educated guess. But yeah,
You're not the only one.
yeah, no, dude, Steve. Yeah. I'll talk for hours on Steve Kerr, but it's getting late, and I kind of want to go to bed, so I don't want to do that. But yeah, good performances from the Mavericks. They got a loss, which aids the tank. Speaking of tank,
Yep. I was
we
about
didn't
to
get
bring
to
it
it.
up.
We didn't get to it last podcast. So we're gonna sim lottery, do our every episode little tankathon thing, little annual tankathon thing. So here we go. Once again, the Washington Wizards get the number 1 pick, followed by the Brooklyn Nets getting 2, Utah Jazz at 3, Indiana at 4, Sacramento at 5, Dallas at 6. I feel like almost every single time we do one of these spins, the best we've gotten is like 2 after 3 or 4 spins. And we always stay at 6 or 7. But yeah, so what are we getting? Who we getting? Who we getting at 6? Maybe a cuff. At this pace, probably not. He's probably going to end up being a top 5. Caleb Wilson, like,
Yeah,
I don't
there's a
know.
lot of. I mean, those prospects are so like interchangeable at the moment. Like, I feel like every day there's new stuff coming out on each guy. I mean, even Sturts from Iowa's getting a ton of love right now. I really like his game, like a lot. Obviously not for the Mavs, but as a guard in the NBA, I think his
Are
game
there
translates. But
are there any guys that are like popping out at you throughout this March Madness
um,
that are potential people to look at if some guys come off the board at 6, 7, 8, 9, or 10?
I would say LeBaron Philon is definitely, I think, getting underrated in this process. He's just so smooth, man. He's got so much. I think the reason people are a little sour on him is because he went to the draft last year and his combine was horrible. He, like I said, went to the draft and it was supposed to be a first round pick, and then it just didn't go well, so he came back. But like I said, all these guards, in this mix, they have flaws, and I just feel like he's not being talked about enough. Like every time I watch him play, I'm like, man, this dude's got juice. He's a really good defender. He's got the size. Obviously, the shooting's a little inconsistent, but you can work on that. But I think he's definitely getting underrated in this, class.
If we're looking for anything, we've said it multiple times, Dallas needs shooting. But
Yes.
but not only just shooting, like shot making ability, but volume shooters. And thinking of, Michael Brown, volume 3-point shooter. He gets up so many attempts per game. Same with Acuff. You just got to look at these guys. How many shots can you get a game? Like Wagler too.
Yeah.
We need some guys that can get up
Get it up.
threes because I mean, in today's NBA, at the point guard position, you need to shoot threes. And one thing we haven't really seen too much out of Ryan Nembhard, he's a consistent 3-point shooter, chilling around that 38, 39% on the season. But in games where he gets 20 plus minutes, you're probably only seeing like 3 attempts a game.
Yeah.
And something that we saw good out of tonight was Cooper had 4 attempts from 3.
Yes.
He did get those up a lot more often. He was able to knock a couple down too. 1 set shot. He had a no dip.
Yep.
I don't know if you noticed that.
Yep. That brought a smile to my face.
That brought a really big smile. I was like, oh, cool with a no dip.
It was online too. It was online. I love that.
Hey, Coop with the no dip. Missed it. He had an off dribble one. He made an off screen, top of the key 3-pointer, drawn up ATO by Jason Kidd. Good stuff. We usually see a lot of makes for ATOs with Coop out of timeouts. I've seen specifically that one play. I remember a few times earlier in the season where we ran that, and it was very successful. But if Coop gets the ball and he knows he's going to shoot it, it goes in pretty often. Especially out of timeouts. But yeah, there really isn't too much to dive into at all this game. We are, getting down. Is this 10 games left of the regular season?
Yep.
10 games left in the regular season. We're going to be getting more into draft stuff. Is there really anything else you want to point out from this game, Jude?
Not really, man. Big turnover game from Najee.
Hmm.
It's just dribbling the ball a bunch. It's gonna happen. I think sometimes he gets into these modes where maybe Cooper makes a mistake or maybe even a couple mistakes, and Najee's kind of like, all right, let me take this over. And sometimes you can get a little ahead of himself. And all this, needs to be prefaced by saying this is not the role Najee Marshall's supposed to be playing. He was not brought here to play this role. So I say this with all due respect. It's just, Najee, honestly,
Took a few bad shots too. He's been taking a lot. Like in recent games, he's been taking a lot of bad shots.
yeah. And what I want to say, you said, one thing, and, I've said it a couple times on these pods, but these guys, they play hard, man. Like they don't quit,
They
you
don't.
know? And
They're,
they really seem like they really seem like they like each other too. Like they
they
just
do.
seem connected, and it feels like kind of weird that they're not winning more games almost. Like, yes, we understand they're a bad team, but their vibes like don't feel horrible, if that
No,
makes sense.
dude, that group, PJ, Najee, and Coop, they're always joyous on the court. Like I feel like
Yeah, I know.
they are obviously best friends on the court, probably off the court too. But that tandem, that trio, PJ, Coop, and Najee, it's always smiles. It's always lifting each other up. I mean, Dallas is blessed to have an extremely skilled wing group. Um,
Yeah.
and they're even more blessed that they have the chemistry that they do have. That's why I see them going into the offseason really not doing too much. Honestly, the chemistry's there. You could see a few guys moved, but I don't think it's going to be too much. I really think they're banking on what this looks like when Kyrie Irving comes back,
Yeah.
because they do have a good roster up and down. A lot of versatility. They might be lacking some shooting, but that could easily be fixed in the offseason by picking up a couple guys, or at this point, Pulakidis, bro, Pulakadadius. I'm liking him a lot. Like he gets up
Yeah, I like his
shots. He's
game.
very confident. Um,
He
he
needs
just
to be
throws it
playing a
up
lot
there.
of minutes down the stretch. He needs to
Yes,
be playing a lot of minutes.
yes. That
Funny enough, I had a thought crossed my mind of uh, we're in a tanking mode, and he was hitting threes, and then kid was like, "Hey, you got to sit, man. You're
yeah.
making too many threes. You got to sit."
That's why I texted
But
you whenever Tyler
with
Smith
all
came
jokes
in.
aside, he needs to get a bunch of minutes. Yeah,
That's why I texted you whenever Tyler Smith
I
came in,
know.
because of what I told you on
Um,
last podcast. Remember that? I was
yeah,
like, I feel like Jason
yeah.
Kidd just sees a lead or sees us getting hot. He's just like, all right, let's roll it back a little
He's
bit.
pulling some strings, man. He sees some numbers that we don't have. I know he does.
Oh yeah,
10 games left. I think mostly playoff teams left.
yeah.
So shouldn't really be a lot of chances, or not chances, but big chances at wins.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, I mean, I'm assuming they're just gonna play the guys the rest of the way, but give them Coach Kidd, man, give them a game or two off, man. It's not gonna hurt anybody.
Yeah,
Just give
dude.
them some of the rotation guys a rest on maybe a back to back if we have one coming up, or all right, man. We can call the dogs off. We understand the mission.
Well said. I mean, like, I feel like Polakidis. I know I'm calling Polakidis. I just like calling Polakidis. I
Cool
know
name. Really cool name.
Great name. Polakidis, dude. If he were to come in during that, like, if you could see him consistently come in, if they were to keep him next season, which is a big if, because two-way guys, unless you're Brandon Williams, you know, two-way guys are kind of, iffy if you're going to keep going into the next season. Especially when you get them late in season. Like, look at what happened to half our two-way guys that were in last season. They're gone. They're not here anymore. But if he comes in during that third quarter, like 5-minute mark to the 10-minute mark of the fourth quarter, if you give him that timestamp every game, I'm completely fine with that. Just a shooter that can come in and bring you in to games, extend your lead potentially, big shooting upside. And he's not too bad on the defensive end. And he's really good. He's really good off ball. He's really good at doing the extra stuff for Dallas.
Great size.
Great size. Smart, good to have another Ivy League guy on the team. He can connect with Dwight Powell building Legos or whatever smart people do nowadays.
Gets to learn under Klay Thompson, man.
Yeah, dude.
A nice guy to learn under.
Like, what? Gosh, dude. To think Max Christie, Pelakidis, Cooper Flagg has not only Klay Thompson, but Kyrie Irving to look to. And now Chris Middleton to look to for advice.
Yeah.
It's pretty promising for the guys. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much all we have for this game. Not too much to get too into. Once again, prayers up for Moses Moody. I mean, that was just a terrible injury, and I hope he comes back healthy next season. And I hope he continues his basketball career because that was very gruesome. And just a great basketball player. Very important for the Warriors. So let's hope he comes back healthy. Closing remarks.
10
more. 10 more. Y'all have a good night. We'll catch y'all later.